I remembered this time. All right. Well, I want to welcome everyone, all of our Indiana patriots and those outside of the state of Indiana. I want to welcome you to our October state call. So we have a lot to cover tonight. So I want to hurry up and get going here. We have some good things to pass on to you tonight. As usual, our agenda will be the first thing, and we'll go over that very quickly here. We'll cover our mission and our vision and mission statement, our aspirational goals. Then we're going to get into the education and training, grassroots. We'll go through our standard tracking updates. Then we'll get into our legislative segment, which Paul will be presenting this evening. And comms team, we have some items in our comms team. I don't know if Ken will be with us tonight. He's on the road, so we'll see if he makes it in. Few words about our newest endeavor, COS Indiana Live. And then I want to let our district captain here in District 85, Ed Paraguay, talk to us about the Fort Wayne Gun and Knife Show that he and some others conducted last weekend. So we'll get a report from them on how that all went. All right, and then at the end we'll do a round the horn and give everybody a chance to say what may be on your mind or ask a question or whatever. So let's get started. Here in Indiana, as you know, our vision statement. Our vision is to build a Hoosier grassroots community of citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. That's our vision here in Indiana. We also, of course, adopt the aspirational goals of Convention of States nationally, and those are, I should say, organize and restore representative government as defined in our written Constitution, restore cultural self-governance in America, and inspire a political and spiritual awakening based on the founding of our country. All right. Let's then move on to our mission statement. Now, these are our goals that we had set forth to try and accomplish by the end of 2018. And I think I mentioned this on our last call, and I'm going to say it again. These are going to be changing between now and the end of this year as we set forth new goals that we want to try and accomplish in 2019. And I'm going to talk a little bit about later on. We're going to talk a little bit about the process that we have underway to identify those goals. But as of right now, we continue to try and fulfill all the support positions, region captains, still shooting for 70% of our district captain positions to be filled. We're asking each district captain that we have on board, once you're through the training, we're asking you to meet at least once with each of your legislators and present the 34 Ready strategy. And then the last goal, of course, is to continue striving to grow the grassroots here in Indiana. We're trying and striving to get to 30,000 supporters here in Indiana. So that continues to be obviously one of our goals and a very, very important one. Okay. Gotta be careful I don't lose track here of where I'm at. Okay. Let's talk about education and training. Rachel, did you make it on with us tonight?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good, good, good. Rachel's with us tonight. All right.
Okay. All right, I don't really have that much of an update. For most of you probably know, this last month has been really hard for me. My brand new house decided to try to kill me. So
Rachel has, I will vouch for that. I don't know. I don't know why terrible things happen to this young lady.
I don't know either. I don't know.
You have really had a heck of a time. Well,
yeah, it's been tough.
Okay.
But I just want to thank all the people who've been in tour and training, some of whom are on the call, for putting up with, delays, and I've tried not to inconvenience anybody else during the process. But there's a couple of things I'm working on, just to kind of let everybody know. Since I started this training program in, what was it, March? I think it was March. We have not had any new region captains. So there actually is not a training program for region captains, so I'm working on that kind of all the time in the background, and hopefully we'll get some people soon to actually put that into practice. In addition, I'm sure Dale will be talking about later in the call some of the stuff that we discussed at our strategic planning meeting, which is going to have implications for training as well. So I'll be working on that, and anybody's feedback is always welcome. Anybody who wants to help is always welcome as well. And so as far as what's happened this month, we have 2 new district captains. We have Bruce Bear. I don't know how to pronounce his last name because I haven't spoken to him yet.
I think it's Bear.
Is it Bear? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. We have Bruce Bear from District 61. I have no idea where that is. Dale, do you know where that is?
Well, Bruce, 61 is out in the southern part of the state. It's in Region 9. So,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so Bruce is actually is actually out of town, but he will be getting started in training soon. I've been in touch with him, but via email. And then Gerald Egal. Again, why does everybody's name have to be hard to pronounce?
Well, they're short names. You should be able to pronounce them.
Yeah, exactly. Gerard is also is actually scheduled to start training on November 1st. He's actually on vacation as well. I believe he's actually an airline pilot.
That's right.
Which is super cool. I thought that's super interesting. Not that all our people aren't interesting, but that's kind of job that I'm always fascinated by because I don't even want to fly on an airplane. So they should be starting training in the next week or so that's exciting. I'm sure they'll do a great job. We have 2 district captains that have completed training during this last month, and I think that they're all here to introduce themselves. John Domka, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, John.
Hi, Rachel.
John was one of my very, very patient trainees who had to be delayed with all my issues with my house and everything like that, so I appreciate it. And he did a great job in training. John, you want to introduce yourself and let everybody know a little bit about you?
Yeah, my name is John. By the way, it's Domka, D-O-M-K-A.
M, yes, that's true.
Not N. I'm a little up here next to Gary, Indiana. I'm up in Lake County, and I grew up in Chicago, and I heard of the Convention of States through Mark Levin. And that's just something as I gotten a little older, I'm become much more conservative and want to work towards getting this country back to its roots.
Cool. You got camera, John? Can you come on?
Yeah, hold on. There I am.
I don't see you yet. Yeah, don't see you. All right. Oh, there you are.
There I am.
All right, good.
Hi, John.
Well, welcome aboard, John. John's in Region, or District 3,
yeah.
Which is up in Region 1. And, so glad to have you, John.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Okay.
All right. You can go off.
Our next district captain to finish training this month is David Milliken. David is actually one of the few times that we have a district captain I actually know where they are. But he's a neighbor. He's in Fishers, it's District 37, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And David was actually recruited by our former state director, Diane Gomez. David, are you here?
Yes, I'm right here.
Come on camera, David, if you can't. There you go.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was working at the Mike Braun campaign, and Diane Gomez was stuffing envelopes, and I was making phone calls, and we had enough time to talk, and she was telling me about Convention Estates. I had heard about you guys through the Mark Levin radio show, but I didn't know how far you guys have gotten or how organized you guys were until I actually got to know you guys.
Awesome.
Well, and now you know how unorganized we really are then, huh?
He doesn't know that yet. He's only
Oh, he doesn't? Okay.
very organized. Well, welcome, David. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Jeff Samuelson has not technically finished training, but he's on the cusp of finishing training. So we figured we'd let him slide in this month. Jeff is in, I believe, Michigan City. Again, I don't know where that is, but it's somewhere. I think it's District 9.
District 9, another Region 1 district captain. So.
And Jeff's training has been very interesting because Jeff is a psychologist, and I am the product of 2 psychiatrist parents. So
oh my goodness!
I've gotten a little bit, of sympathy for my upbringing in my training with him. Is Jeff here today?
I am here.
Okay, great. Why don't you let us introduce yourself to everyone, Jeff?
Sure. As you said, Rachel, I'm a psychologist up in Michigan City, Indiana. It's the southern tip of Lake Michigan, some of the best beaches in the world. I've always been interested in politics and having the conservative bent like others. I believe that limited government is a very good thing. Like the other folks have said, I've heard bits and pieces about the Convention Estates project, and like John and I believe it was Ed, I too heard about it through Mark Levin, and since he's one of the smartest people I know, it got my attention. So you often hear what difference can one person make. Well, I think in this kind of endeavor, maybe that is a possibility to make a difference. So that's what piqued my curiosity, and the reason I joined is because somebody out there asked me to. So that shows the value of simply asking. So I'm happy to be here.
Great. We're happy to have you. Welcome.
Great, Jeff. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Well, that's all I have.
All right, Rachel. Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right. Let's move on to grassroots then, and talk about once again we're still looking to fill more positions. We're obviously still looking for district captains. We're looking for an event coordinator, coalitions director, a Veterans Coalition coordinator for the state, videographers, and a media liaison. So those positions we still have open and still looking to fill those. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, region captains, I think we have, I'm gonna just go on a limb and say this, I think we have some good candidates for region captains coming up through our new district captain ranks. And so I think, after they have had some time to be a district captain, then I think we'll be moving them into a region captain status. So, but we're still looking for region captains. So any of you, if any of you have an interest in possibly being a region captain, if not now, maybe down the line, please let me know so we can talk about that. Okay, let's get into our tracking reports that we normally go over. Just to give you an idea of the districts per region that we have, where we have district captains. We're now down to 21 districts. We do have district captains in every region now. That is something that we haven't had for a while, but we're still in the 20s. We just can't seem to break that ceiling of 30 district captains. Seems like if we go over by one or two, we then lose some district captains. So we're 21. That leaves 79 districts open in the state of Indiana without district captains. As far as region captains, whoops, I went too far. As far as region captains, we talked about this a little earlier. We have one region captain. That leaves us with 8 regions that we need to fill with region captains. Okay? All right, I'm getting some noise from somebody here. So please, once again, mute yourself. I don't know who's doing that. Okay. Let's get into the legislative area. And Paul, are you ready to come on?
Yes, sir. There I am.
There you go. I put in a slide here on your podcast. I think you just thought maybe you would want to say something about your most recent podcast.
Yeah, I just did an episode that kind of highlighted the testimony of Senator Ben Sasse from the Kavanaugh hearing. To me, he had the best remarks there, which were all about the problem of the legislative function moving from Congress over to the Supreme Court and to the executive. So kind of tied that all together with introducing the non-delegation doctrine. So if you're bored and you got nothing better to do, you can listen to the episode. I hope you find it helpful.
Okay. All right.
I see you got Fort Wayne Business Forum on here. I was invited by a friend to present Convention of States to the Fort Wayne Business Forum, which is a group of business people here in Fort Wayne. And my friend invited me because Senator Long had addressed them a couple of times about Article 5 movements. And the more I talked to him, it was Senator Long's presentation was more in line with the balanced budget amendment. So he invited me in, I think not really knowing that much about Convention of States. And it was I think a great session. I really enjoyed doing it, and hopefully helped to spread our name around a little bit.
Yeah. Paul, I wanted to ask you, it looked like you had a pretty good crowd there that you were speaking to. Were there many questions, or did people seem interested?
There were quite a few questions, and a number of them were very engaged, very interested in what we're doing, and just a general sense of support for us.
Great.
So yeah, it was really a nice opportunity to address that crowd.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, good job. We need to take every opportunity that we have like this to speak to groups that, especially any groups that would be, like-minded. So, good job. Good job.
Thanks.
Okay.
What do you got next? Oh, okay. Happy to report that Kim is off on a well-deserved vacation, so she won't be reporting tonight, but she did have a legislative meeting with her senator. She had met with her representative last month and reported to us, and she carried through and has met with both of her legislators, and some really good results. And then we've got Dallas Halcom on. I hope he can connect here. Dallas also met with both of his legislators this past month. So Dallas, are you there?
I know he
looks like you're self-muted.
Okay, Dallas, if you... Dallas, can you unmute?
Looks maybe like his camera is turned on, but he's self-muted.
I was trying to...
You got to click the microphone that's up in the header bar. If it's red, you're muted.
It looks like he's unmuted now. Dallas, are you talking to us?
Well, doesn't look like he's going to connect with us.
Let's move on, Dale, and we can get a report from Dallas at the next session, next state call.
All right, okay. Okay, let me come back on here.
And I think the final thing you had there was strategic planning, right?
Well, I have that under the comms team. That's okay, but I want you to comment on this. I guess Ken's not going to be able to join us tonight. He's like I said, he's on the road. But one of the things that has been going on is our strategic planning, and Paul has been conducting this for us, and I wanted to play for you, hopefully, a video that Ken put together of our first strategic planning meeting that we conducted. So let me see if I can get that to work here. Okay, come on. It's thinking. Here we go. And Paul, you can probably make some comment on this after we're...
If we put all of those things together, what would you have? What would you say to that?
A basics, regional basics presentation from Convention of States. When you get to the plan part, you know, the problem, the solution, the plan. Part of the plan is grassroots mobilization. And I think that's what this is.
Okay, let's use that word then. So I'm going to push things on quickly. We'll keep this on schedule. To what about our resources? What are the main resources we have to mobilize grassroots in the direction of self-governance? What are our resources that are available to us?
People and technology.
Okay.
No more money. No money, that's for sure.
Our state legislators a resource that we use?
That's good.
So to me, resource, that resource is much value.
Or maybe that we're not using effectively.
That might be too, because, well, that's probably the best state. Because we've already done our part. We've done the resolution. We've done step 1 of 3, but we've got, I think like about 34 days. There's only match legislators for the election. We've got to educate them, right? And re-educate the ones who are returning because they probably forgot.
But I'd argue we use that resource to get our application passed. Now we have to use that resource to get a proper commissioner selection and instruction bill.
Yeah.
And then after convention, we have to use that resource to get ratification. And so that's why I said we've just done step 1 and 3.
Indeed. And what are the chances we can turn legislators into activists?
I actually prefer legislators if I had engaged them sometime. I'm not sure that would be now if you want, but I mentioned them like in the off years when we're not running for election. Partnering with them to host a town hall meeting during the session when your staff is free to help get the word out and use them really that they would pay for. That in July of an election year, they're barred from doing that.
Yeah.
But in a non-election year, they can. And they both were, they do that.
Wow.
And they could be convention states focused and sponsored. But in an election year, go ahead and let their election campaign be the focus. And then in the off years, we can focus. Because, sometimes you're even competing for the same volunteers.
But we have to be careful not to turn that into a political campaign.
Right.
Or a political event for that legislator.
Right.
Yeah. But they love to host town hall meetings.
Absolutely.
You can get them to focus town hall at least one of the primary topics being convention of states.
Right.
If there's some kind of legislation that ties into self-governance, then you've got to win.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so the way I summarize that, I changed people to volunteers. We have to get people willing to volunteer for it. And that also specifies we don't have any money. Because we got to get the volunteers. Technology and legislators are the resources that we can bring together. So if we're going to mobilize our grassroots, be passionate about focus on self-governance, and the resources we're going to use are our volunteers and our legislators and technology, what does that give you is maybe what we need to really focus on. So I can halfway step out of the facilitator role and suggest that what's at the center of all of this, the thing that we could focus on, that's our one thing, is creating effective district captain legislator relationships. If we put all our efforts to that, then we can argue for self-governance. We're mobilizing people, recruiting district captains coming to this. We're using these resources. So why do we need more petition signers? Because that enhances that district captain's relationship with the legislature. Why do we need a great training session? Because that mobilizes that district captain to effectively work with the legislator to get done what we want to get done. Why do we need a legislative strategy? That's ultimately to enhance the DC legislator relationship. Does it make sense that at a very foundational level, everybody in the Convention of States Indiana is volunteering, all of us in this room, region captains, district captains, grassroots coordinators, everybody should be thinking, what can I do today to help support and strengthen district captain legislator relationships? And if I'm doing something that does that, I'm moving us towards success.
All right. Paul, you have any other comment on that?
Second, I got to unmute before I can comment.
Yeah.
So Yeah, we spent about 4 hours together working on the beginnings of a strategic plan for next year. And although we made a lot of progress, we need to meet again, and we're working on scheduling that second level of meeting to get down to some detailed goals with accountabilities and delivery dates and so on. But I would say the big thing that came out of that strategic planning session is that we agreed that the main focus of our organization is to be focusing on creating and enhancing district captain legislator relationships. And if everything we do is focused on that, that's how we're going to be successful. So I guess another way I'd put it, if we were really a business, that district captain, along with their legislator, would be our one profit center, the one relationship that we have to focus on to make sure is most profitable.
Yes. All that I would add to what Paul has just said is that this is a process that we're going through, and we're not through the process yet, but we will get through it. And I think what's going to happen is I think you're going to see some changes in the way we approach things here in the state of Indiana. I think we're truly thinking outside of the box, and I believe that's what we're going to have to do. So I'm really excited as to what the direction we're going with this, and really excited about completing the process and getting ourselves ready to tackle 2019. So thank you, Paul, and everybody, for what you've done so far, and looking forward to completing that process. Okay, let me move around here. COS Indiana Live. Well, this is, for those of you that may not be familiar with this is a new thing that we're starting. And basically what it is a live broadcast that we will be conducting through our Facebook page, our state Facebook page, Convention of States Indiana. We held our first broadcast on October 15th. And I spent hours preparing for that. I host this at this time, and something went wrong. I blamed the software that I was using. I blamed all sorts. I even blamed Rachel for a while there. I even thought maybe she was sabotaging me or something. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Sounds fair to me, though.
It sounds right to you.
For all the new people on here, Dale blames everything on me. I don't know why. I don't know what I ever did, but get used to it. I try not to take it personally, but I mean, it's always the same.
It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun.
For you. What about how it is for me? I guess that doesn't matter. Okay.
Well, as it turns out, it was a user problem, and I had the wrong, the wrong cord plugged into the wrong port. So it was all my fault. So I terminated the broadcast, and we're going to give it another shot here on October 29th. We're going to try for every other Monday at 7 o'clock. And again, it'll be on our Indiana Facebook page. So I have it posted as an event, and you can certainly share that on your Facebook page. So we're going to try and design this, at least initially here, we're designing this to attract new members, new people, new supporters to Convention of States. So it's going to be geared toward new people people that don't know a lot about our organization or about Convention Estates. So look for that, October 29th, 7 o'clock. Hopefully I'll have all the right cords plugged in. And my first guest, as a matter of fact, will be Paul Phillips. So I'll be interviewing Paul on that first broadcast on October 29th. All right, next thing I wanted to mention to everyone is, if you haven't heard already, we do have, Convention Estates is preparing for another simulation, Convention Estates simulation in 2019. It'll be, the dates right now are set for September 12th through the 15th, 2019. Once again, be held at Colonial Williamsburg. And they're promising that this is going to be bigger and better than the first one, which was great in itself. So just make note of that and put that on your calendar. You'll be hearing, of course, more and more about this as we go along. Okay, let's talk about the Fort Wayne Gun and Knife Show. Ed, are you on with us this evening? I saw your name. Ed Paraguay. Ed, are you here?
Hello, sorry.
There you go.
On your previous frame, you had Colonial Williamsburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah?
I believe it's in Virginia.
Did I do that again? You know, I've made that mistake before.
Yeah.
And I think you're the one that called me on it before too.
It does sound familiar, doesn't it?
So much to live and learn.
Yeah. All right.
The Gun and Knife Show was held at the Memorial Coliseum on Saturday and Sunday, October 13th and 14th. On the 13th, Lowell Foster and I, with the help of Bob Glasshawk, manned the tables in the morning. I don't remember if Bob had to leave at noon or shortly thereafter. And on Sunday, we were joined by Gary Harbaugh and George Ward, who I believe were in the strategic planning meeting.
Hey, Ed?
Yes.
Is Lowell's last name Foster?
Yes.
Jeez. Another mistake. Okay. I've got him here as Lowell Thomas. I don't know why. That. All right. Go ahead.
So anyway, we were there for a total of 8 hours on Saturday and 5 on Sunday. We had, for that effort, we have 14 paper petitions signed. We accumulated a few names with telephone numbers and or other contact information. I guess I'll have to talk to George about what to do with those. Because I'm assuming these people still want to be convinced, but they did not sign a paper petition. And then there were others who took one or more pieces of paper, either our little business card sized COS card with the information or some of our handouts. And there were a lot of veterans present there wearing various headgear to identify the units they served with and when. So Lowell kept himself busy chasing those folks down. We have a glossy half-size piece of paper aimed at veterans, and he handed out a lot of those. A general observation, it seemed like we did better on signatures among younger people. I would say those perhaps in their mid-30s and younger. People in their 50s and older tended to be pretty set in their ways. Some of them engaged us for quite a period of time, and then declined the invitation to sign a petition, and really wouldn't be specific. The general comment was, well, it's too late, or it'll never work, or 2 or 3 other stock answers. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit frustrating, especially for coming from those people who understood what was at stake here, and after a little conversation seemed to understand what the Convention of States project is about. So I don't know what to say. With a smaller group, we have the same, Lowell and I had some of the same responses at the Gun and Knife Show that was held last month out at the fairground. Although we didn't have a booth there, we were told by the secretary of that group that we were welcome to wear our large buttons and talk to anybody that might be interested. So we did talk to a few people. So Gary and Lowell and I talked about getting together, at least the 3 of us, maybe Bob Glasscock can join us, but start a little group that meets once or maybe twice a month for coffee to talk over some of the things that work. Once in a while we'll see something on one of the COS videos, whether it's the follow-up tool. I got some interesting stuff from that a couple of weeks ago, including the story of one woman who moved from California to Idaho. She started with one other person in California and worked at just having a group to discuss the Convention of States. And it was one of these things, once you're comfortable, bring somebody that you think might like to hear it. And as the story went, by the time she moved to Idaho, there were almost 30 people in that group. Clearly, we need to do a better job. I thought by being at a Gun and Knife Show that there wouldn't be much to explain, but I was wrong. There are a lot of people who still haven't heard of us. We're going to kick around whether or not we should go for the November show, which is, I think, the weekend following Thanksgiving, and is one I can't make. But I've been told by others that the January and March shows have probably the greatest attendance, so we'll make sure that we're present for those. And I got a little instruction from a booth next to us about putting together a standard for our either our Convention of States banner or the one we've got that lists the 3 things that we're trying to do. I'm going to try to put that together in time for the next show. We'll be able to clamp that at the back of the table, and it will stick up over our heads so that we can display both banners on a single 8-foot table.
All right.
So that's about all I have. I don't want to take any more time unless you have a question.
No, I think that's good, Ed. I want to thank you and Gary and Lowell and George and Bob for dedicating your time to manning this. This is what we need to do, and so thank you very much for doing this.
You're welcome, Dale.
All righty. Thanks, Ed. Okay, let's go around the horn here, see if anyone has anything that they would like to, anything they'd like to add or ask. George, how about you? You'll have to unmute yourself.
I know. I had it over on the side. I had to find the microphone and stuff.
All right.
No, it's a interesting presentation today. Tonight, it's nice seeing the activity, with district captains meeting their legislatures and being involved in the Gun and Knife Show and having those events happen. It's good, and I also want to again welcome the new district captains and congratulate those that have come out of training. Good job, excellent. Just
all right.
Stay in contact. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Paul, you got anything else?
No, I think I've said enough.
All right. David Milliken, you still with us? You got anything else you wanted to add?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think it sounds good. It sounds like there's some activity, and yeah, I guess I was gonna wait, but I don't mind. I mean, it seems like it might be too early for this, but you were saying that you were looking for volunteers for region captain, and I don't know if you're looking for someone to step up, because then you lose a district captain, but I don't know. So there it is. My hat's in the ring.
Well, okay. We'll have some talks. We'll talk about that, David. Thank you. Okay, Susan, you on there now? Susan? Did you go back to answer?
I'm here.
Oh, I thought you went to answer the door again. No.
No, I was cooking chicken soup. Is what I was doing.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I was muted. It takes me a second to get back on.
Okay.
Is Rodney Huckleberry on the phone?
He was. I don't know if he's. I know it. Oh, you're there. Okay, Rodney.
What's up?
Hey, Rodney. I was going to make the one announcement you told me to make, but since you're here, you're better at announcements than I am, so go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, probably everybody knows by now that we have a new endorser, and that is Judge Napolitano.
Ah, yeah.
So if anybody, hasn't heard, that is, that's a really big deal. So that's all. All
right, good. Well, thanks for joining us, Susan.
Oh, I love it. Y'all are doing great.
Well, thank you. You too, Rodney. Rodney, are you still on?
I am. Yeah, thanks for all you guys do, everything you're doing. If you got some good stories from those events like I just saw on there, you get somebody to write it up in the Citizen Builder content. They like sharing those stories and getting it out there. And one thing I heard from Mark Meckler, he actually was he kind of insisted on it, was when you write up a content for an event like that or something you did with some team members there, is at least one of the people kind of add to the story of why you joined Convention of States so that story can be shared with everybody across the country.
Okay, thanks. Rodney, you mentioned Mark Meckler. Mark's testimony at the Senate subcommittee in Pennsylvania, that's on Slack now. I think it's on our Facebook page. If you haven't had a chance to see that, I would encourage you to watch that. He really hit it out the park. I'll tell you, it was very, very good testimony that he made.
Yeah, and it'd be good to share that with your friends and family or anybody else share it on social media, because it explains a lot about Convention of States and why we need to do it. And yeah, anytime you see a post or anything like that, share it out. Don't sit and read it and put it away. Share it out across the country.
All right. Thanks for being with us tonight, Rodney. Okay, Dallas, are you on? Still on? Did you figure it out?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right.
Oh. Well, second time around, I guess. I'm on the phone. I'm on my phone watching, so
are you?
Be better or not?
Well,
it was another very interesting meeting tonight. What I caught, I could hear everything. I just couldn't join in.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We'll glad you made it, and I think like Paul said, we'll bring you on again at the next time and give you another chance to introduce yourself. So,
okay.
But glad you finally made it on here. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
And let's see, David Millick. I think I've already talked to you, didn't I, David?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. And we just talked to Ed. George, Larry Wee Wee, still on?
I am.
How are you doing? You got anything you want to say?
No, been pretty busy with my son's wedding here the last 2 weeks.
Is he get married now? Is he married?
We got through the blessed event Saturday, and he's in Tahiti, so I can get focused back on the effort here.
Well, congratulations to him. Good. All right. Thomas, you on?
Yes, sir.
There you are. You got anything to say?
Well, I've been retweeting things on Twitter, linking Paul's podcast with that.
Okay.
I also been preparing for my little, I hope for more than ghost meetings come Saturday. I just love meeting with all them empty chairs.
That's this Saturday?
That's this Saturday.
All right. Tell everybody, where's that going to be and what time?
That's going to be at Centerville Township Public Library at 10 to 12. I didn't want to take up the whole day with empty chairs.
Well, we've all experienced empty chairs, so.
Well, yeah, I had my share.
Well, you hang in there and give us a report on that. Get some pictures. If anyone shows up, get some pictures.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thanks. All right, everyone, that's it for tonight. Now, our next state call will be on the 28th of November. And right now it looks like I think we're going to skip December. But for as far as November is concerned, the next call will be Wednesday, November 28th, 8 o'clock. So, everyone, thanks for joining in, and have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Night, all. Thank you all for your help.